What's
Hey,
up, dude?
hey, not much, man. Enjoying the holiday season.
Yeah, we're worked out the bugs. We finally had a little technical difficulty,
Yeah,
but we made it.
I'm still a rookie, but my boss is helping me through it.
It's all right. Um, for the people who are watching or going to watch or listen, Darren's having some technical difficulties with his system too. I think it's a curse, not a curse. Maybe someone doesn't want us to fucking do this. I don't know.
I don't know, man. All I know is that like my internet and my phone service and everything has been crazy for like the last week, so I'm starting to feel like the.
Yeah. Yeah, I things get kind of crazy. I don't know, maybe just superstitious type of shit, but it seems like every like Halloween time, it's when crazy like shit happens. Maybe because we try to make, or maybe we think something cool is going to happen through the month of October.
Right.
Um, I that's the way I feel. And October or October within itself is my favorite my favorite month, my favorite holiday, other than Thanksgiving.
That's a good one.
I think just due to the fact that I base my stuff around or my I guess my collection genre
Oh
interest
yeah, that's a good
around
one.
horror, and
Yep.
so us horror fans gets 1 month, I guess.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's my favorite holiday as well. And like now that I'm a dad, is like I was trying to make it real special for my kid because I do got some stories for you about my Halloween, and
Yeah, yeah, we'll
it
get
was
into
really
that.
fun.
Like,
They're super positive. They're just a little wild.
right, I my biggest thing I like to do is I like haunted houses during Halloween.
As in
Me,
the staged ones.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
The little uh county or privatized one.
they're awesome.
Um, I go to this one every year. I've been stationed here for about 4 or 5 years now. We've gone every year, um, and they always do a great job. Like they always kill it. And speaking of killing, that is what basically this topic is going to be about. Is going to be homicides during Halloween. Like, what are the odds of something tragic, no pun intended, happening on Halloween? Like,
It's
if
crazy,
any month you want to die or get killed on, like, try to avoid it being on Halloween.
right?
I mean,
Right. I
for me,
couldn't
I would
believe.
I would want to be killed on Halloween, but that's
Yeah,
just my
like
pick, you know.
I couldn't believe these stories, and it's crazy because I recognized a couple of them. Hey, I want to throw a fun fact in there. My mom is like the ultimate Halloween mom because she was born on Friday the 13th of October.
Oh wow,
I thought that was pretty cool.
that's
We need to
cool.
give a
Yeah,
shout out to Mama.
hell yeah, yeah. I remember growing up, and I don't want to say we grew up poor, but we times have changed. But
Yeah,
we grew up not so fortunate. I don't know.
I know,
Um,
dude. I can totally relate.
and I remember my mom. We couldn't afford a costume one year, and now mind you, this is before Google and all this. And she took toilet paper and Vaseline and put it on my face, and it looked like my face was peeling off. And she
Oh my god,
put a little bit of makeup, like it was the gnarliest shit I've ever seen as a kid. And like even after we were done trick or treating, I was still wearing it. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. You
that
know,
is so cool.
yeah, like my mom came through. She was the MVP. Um, till this day, I that's one of my fondest memories of Halloween is, uh, my mom's like, "Well, we ain't got no money, but I got some Vaseline and toilet paper."
A-
uh,
Amen on that. I
yeah,
totally.
she pulled through, and there was a few other times. I remember, I think, a trash bag as a cape, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's funny you say that about your mom because, like I mentioned a second ago, my mom tried to make something special, and I'm in the same boat as you, man. I grew up, I like the same type of thing, you know.
yeah,
We really struggled growing up, but I think it made us a stronger family, you know. And my mom, you know, she used to. It's so funny. It's like crazy. She would have me and my little brother when he got older. She would have us running from door to door, and we'd be filling up the trick or treat things, and we'd come back to the car and fill a garbage bag. She took us to all the rich neighborhoods. We didn't, you know, I might have lived in the hood, but she would drive us all over. Literally, grew up in the Quad Cities, and we would go to like the nice neighborhoods, the ones that hand out like whole candy bars. And
Nice.
it was so fun and such a good memory. She's hyping my little boy up for that, but he's got another year or two to go. But
Nice.
we used to love it. She made Halloween so special for us. You know, even if we didn't have a lot, she made it great.
Yeah. Yeah, the Halloween was where it was at. There was a shoot, what was I gonna say? It doesn't slip my mind. Um, damn, it was right there.
You're gonna say something about something you did on Halloween. I'm
Yeah, it was God, what did we do? I can't remember. It'll come back to me. But I do remember growing up and uh my mom checking my bag for like razor blades and drugs. And as I've gotten older, I was like, there's not a right person in their damn mind that's gonna throw free drugs into a trick or treat bag. There's
right.
no way. I was like, no, like I don't know. Maybe that was mom's way of like
Well, until we read that
persuading me
article
to
today.
like check my bag, mom. Make sure there's no LSD or heroin in there. You
Right.
know.
Well, you saw the did you see on our the things we were reviewing in the article today that the man that killed Halloween, he put arsenic in a pixie stick. I couldn't believe it. I read the
I
whole article.
missed that article. What was
Yeah,
that
it's
about? Tell us
wonderful.
about it.
They call him the man that killed Halloween, and he killed his own son. There was 5 kids he tried to kill. Somehow the other 4 figured out that the first kid was messed up, and he encouraged his son to eat it to get insurance money. So that's one of our evil stories for the night. Yeah, I read the whole article earlier, bro. It's
Gum.
sick.
Yeah, I must have missed that one.
They gave him twice as much that was needed to kill him, and he stopped breathing. It's terrible.
To his own boy.
Yeah.
Did it say anything about him meaning to do that?
Oh yeah, he meant to.
He meant to do that?
He, oh man, I should look it up again. I know that the son, he wanted his son to die because he wanted to collect insurance. But the other 4 kids, I can't quite remember. I think he was trying to do it so it didn't look like he's the one that did it. So I think he
Yeah.
wanted multiple kids to have it. So yeah, he put straight up arsenic, and they could smell the kid's breath. The reason the other kids didn't die is because they when the paramedics got there, they smelled the arsenic. I guess I didn't know you could smell that, but they smelled it out of his breath, like as he died, and they knew something was wrong with something he ingested. So the other kids didn't end up dying. And so
Oh my god.
the man that killed Halloween, man, that's crazy. We grew up, you know how it is. We grew up, and our parents, we go to. They even had the hospitals X-raying your stuff, making sure there's no razor blades. But like you said, no
Yeah.
one's gonna waste the good drugs. But arsenic and razor blades, that's just sick.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I never had that issue as a kid. I never once. And maybe because my little town, it was just like everybody knew everybody. So if they knew someone would fuck with one of the kids, like they're
Oh
done.
yeah,
It was like that's how small my town was. Man, that's crazy. I must have missed that story. I did one of the ones I'm looking at right now. The story says that um it says here, 5-year-old became enraged after losing a bag of trick or treat candy. He threw a tantrum, but a 55-year-old. So it says that Liddell Peoples, who lost his cool on Halloween in 2011 in a domestic disturbance in Chicago South Side.
yeah,
Imagine
right.
that, Chicago.
Yeah, yeah.
It says that he turned very ugly indeed. That it turned very ugly indeed. Not able to track down his bag of Hershey's, Jolly Ranchers, and Tootsie Rolls, he accused his partner, 49-year-old Maria Adams, of stealing his candy from him. As a way to respond to the accusation, she threw a plate at his head. Oh my gosh. Peoples, which is
His name.
the 55-year-old, picked up a knife and repeatedly stabbed her. She died in the hospital, and her killer got 30 years over some candy.
That's
That's
insane.
wild.
He's taking
Like,
that stuff too. I'm looking at the same article. He's taking that stuff too too hard.
Like what would possess you uh to like something's got to like snap. I think it was reading that story, I think it was more than just candy. I think maybe that was just what pushed that guy over,
It had to
cuz
be.
what built up to that, you know
There
what I
had to be
mean?
more to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a, like we love our horror movies and we like our spooky stories, but I can tell you, me, Darren, we're good people. We wouldn't do that kind of stuff, but it's interesting to learn about it, and I just couldn't imagine it, like
Yeah.
killing somebody over a bag of candy. It's like it's like
That's what I'm saying. Something else led up to that other than, that was probably just the straw or
the
broke
broke
the
the
camel.
camel's back.
Yeah, that was the last straw. Um but wow. Like the last straw would be like her, I guess, cheating on me, or
That's
maybe the
what I'm
throwing of the plate, but
guessing.
the guy, I guess he rendered it was because she stole his candy.
Right. They probably, I mean, these stories are really good, and some of them are definitely tied to Halloween. That one particularly, I think they just geared it that way to make it seem like,
Yeah.
extra
Yeah,
wild.
I think there was more going on in that
They
house
had to
than
be.
just stealing sweets. Um, the next one is it's a Halloween tradition that leads to a bullet in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Um, chucking eggs at houses and cars is a classic. If you're rather juvenile and annoying, Halloween prank, but after a long day at work, an evening of trick or treating with his girlfriend, um, and her young son, 21-year-old Carl Jackson, was
Mhm.
in no mood for his car to get egged on Halloween night in 1998. I mean, what person would want that? Like, that
Exactly.
would if you egged my truck, that would probably send me into rage like the other guy stabbing his wife.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I you egg my shit. That's gonna piss me off. Let's see what it says. Unfortunately for all concerned, it was South Bronx. See, why is it always like
The cities, because people like me and you, like I grew up in the Quad Cities, but I also lived in a lot of small towns, man. These cities just get wild. You
right?
guys know the
Like,
stories about the neighborhood I'm in alone.
man, I missed out. I missed out a lot.
No,
Maybe I
you
should have
are
been in a
missing
big
nothing, man.
city.
I mean, the last podcast I did, I literally got jumped like 12 hours before, and now it started my sunglass tribute.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Let's see. It was in the South Side Bronx, tough neighborhood. So when Carl got out of his car to remonstrate with the kid who went sunny side up on his vehicle, he took. I see what they did there. He took
Yeah,
a risk. Sadly, the risk didn't pay off. 17-year-old Curtis Sterling shot Carl in the head, killing him instantly. Sterling was arrested, charged, and imprisoned for murder. Every Halloween, Carl Jackson's mother sends her son's killer a card telling him she's glad he's rotting in prison.
that's intense.
Oh wow! See, that's another one. I think they just kind of tied it to Halloween. I don't, it was. I think it was just
Well,
it was just a mishap because that could have happened. You
well,
know,
if you think about, and like like I said, I live in small towns and some bad neighborhoods, like I'm kind of in now, and I can kind of understand it. But the 17-year-olds being a juvenile, and those are some of the stories I have: smashing pumpkins, throwing eggs,
yeah,
TPing, stuff like that. But you try not to harm people that bad. But obviously, 17-year-old kid carrying a gun too and some eggs. And he eggs somebody and the guy gets out of the car. When you're in the South Bronx, I mean, somebody gets out of their car and you just piss them off.
yeah,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
little over the top. I guess you probably shouldn't be instigating people if you think you're gonna have to kill them.
yeah. I looked up some stuff today. Crime rate during
But
Halloween. Um, and the article basically stated that the crime rate was more or less like DUIs, drunk driving, hit
oh,
and runs, more of the like middle, maybe 21-year-old, 30,
party,
mid 30, yeah, going to parties, drinking on Halloween and end up running over people, DUIs, manslaughter.
right?
That's what the article was telling me. That was where majority of the crime is heightened. It didn't really state much as far as your normal crime, which egging someone's car is a crime. Um, you know, as far as even ding dong ditching, um, can be related as somewhat of a
Good.
misdemeanor.
It could be harassment.
You know, and I don't think the article really stated much of uh counting that much of that into that sort of crime. But I
Right.
looked up murders and stuff, and more or less it was just it related it to like DUIs, manslaughter, and stuff. So I was kind of disappointed in that. I was like, man,
You know what? You know what crime I would think would be rampant would be robbery. I mean,
yeah,
it's the day of the year that you can wear a mask. You know, I mean, I know with COVID, they actually, from what I've read, crime did go up with robberies with COVID. I actually had a neighbor in this wonderful building of mine that robbed 3 gas stations and a Walgreens here in town. And my dad just happened to be at that gas station 5 minutes before he got there at 5 in the morning. And the guy was going in because of the mask thing. Well, you would think on
yeah,
Halloween, I see a lot of signs that say you can't wear your mask in the store and stuff like that. But that's what I thought would run rampant is people have an excuse to wear a mask, before COVID, leaving COVID out of the situation. And
yeah. I
I thought that would happen.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure in certain certain places maybe it is heightened a little bit. I
Right.
think I think during Halloween and even the month of October, again, I told you it feels like there's always a presence. I maybe because I just love this month.
Mhm.
But there's always like some sort of gloomy present, and maybe because every store has got Halloween stuff. Well, I say that, but every store will have like Halloween stuff for like a week, and then the other 3 weeks is like Christmas stuff during
Yeah,
the
that's a bummer. Come on, keep Halloween going.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like it should like you shouldn't even put Christmas stuff through November. You
Right.
should
I know, take turns. That drives
yeah.
me nuts. I'm not I mean, I like Christmas, and I have a kid, so I like Christmas for the family element. I didn't like it growing up for reasons,
Yeah.
but like that's cool, but Halloween's awesome. I was like totally to the point that I don't know my with my I don't say baby mama, the mother of my child who I'm still with, so I guess my fiance. She
Yeah.
her dad's a pastor. So they're super religious. And I'm like a rogue Christian, so I don't even bring religion into it.
Yeah.
They think I'm the devil. So I think she's watching now too. I should've said that. But she like when I look at I wanted to do like 13 days of Halloween where I had a Halloween tree for my son and everything, and I wanted him to get gifts on Halloween. And she's like, "You take Halloween serious." I'm like, "Yeah, I do, but it's nothing evil or anything. I'm not
Right.
recognizing it as Samhain or any of the other stuff. It's just really fun and it's a really cool holiday. You got to think about look at all the other holidays compared to that one. This
No,
one is
absolutely.
super cool. And
It,
another note, I have a fun Halloween fact that would be nice for the viewers. Did you know? Do you know what the Mary Janes, the not the Mary Janes, but the orange and black toffee kind of candy? There's orange ones and black ones, and
is it
they're
that
like
taffy?
yeah, it's like a peanut
And it
butter
and it
tasting.
comes in that wax,
Yes,
wrapper? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Did you know that there's actually a town in it was South or North Carolina that banned that? Their county, their city board or whatever. I think it was a joke, but they banned people from handing that candy out. And it's like my mom's favorite candy, so I've literally looked for it all season. And I went into a Walgreens and this girl looked at me like I lost my mind, like I had two heads. She's like, "What are you
So
talking
you
about?"
so you can't find that anywhere?
I can't. She found some generic knockoffs,
Yeah.
but they're not the same ones. And I thought that was really weird because when I was a kid, that was the candy you didn't want. So you go trick or treat, and
Yeah.
throw those in there, and you'd be like,
You
"Oh,
do
my
you
mom
think
apparently loves them, and I can't find them for her."
do you think it's probably because of its people allergic or something to do with
It
that's
could be
weird.
that, or it could be just the fact that so many generations of people didn't like it. I mean, come on, a town banned it. I mean, it was an
That's
article
a
all
little
over the
extreme,
internet.
though.
What's that?
That's a little extreme.
Yeah, I bet I mean I'm pretty darn sure that if they were to serve that candy, they wouldn't get a ticket or something.
Yeah.
But the
That's
council
weird.
did ban it. They banned it.
So
I thought that was crazy.
every year, uh, Halloween, the month of October, these movie outlets, they just play like the greatest horror movies.
Oh
Um,
yeah, like the sci-fi, all
yeah,
the
like I and Shutter is lit right now, which Shutter's always lit, but
yes.
Netflix has their little thing. But um, I have a tradition. I try to watch Halloween 3 every year. Um,
Is Halloween
mind you,
3 the one with the season of the witch or
yeah,
whatever?
yeah.
It has
I'm
nothing to do with
so
Michael
like
Myers. Okay,
I wish they didn't tie any of that to the Halloween series. I'm gonna be
franchise.
super honest with you. I fucking hate Halloween movies. Like
Oh, really?
I don't like Michael Myers shit. Like I can't stand him.
Right.
I think they're overrated. It's like ran into the ground. The first one sucked. Like I hate them all except 3.
That's so interesting, but you like 3 because
I
of
love 3. I and I don't even when I say Halloween 3, I more or less just say Season of the Witch because really it's not a Michael Myers movie, which thank God it wasn't.
right,
Um,
right.
but I try
Cool.
to watch that every year just for the simple fact that Tom Atkins, he's a vagina crusher. That dude gets pussy out, the yin yang and and Tommy Wallace, he did such a good job on it and then Cochran. What I can't
You're
remember his
gonna
name. The
make me
old
watch
man,
it. You're gonna make me watch it tonight after,
dude. You gotta watch. Like that's a movie you gotta watch because it it focuses itself around fucking Halloween. You know,
right. It's
um,
literally based on
it's
Halloween
based
or yeah,
on Halloween. Like you die on Halloween.
right.
um, Going back on the topic of some of these homicides. Let's see another one here. Halloween House of Horrors. That's cool because I'm wearing actually House of a Thousand
Oh, that's awesome.
Corpses. Yeah, it's one of my
Oh, you know
favorite
what? I
freaking
had the Don't
movies.
Blame Us shirt on earlier, and I must have switched your
Let's
top.
see this one. This one's coming out. Let's see the scene. It's out of Ohio. Ohio teenager Devon Griffin walked into was like something out of a haunted house. He later said, returning home from church on Sunday, October 31st, 2010, Devon found his brother Derek,
Oh,
mother Susan, and Susan's new husband William Lisk all dead and savagely murdered. There was only one suspect, William Liske Jr., suffering with schizophrenia with a documented history of violence and wildly unpredictable behavior. The 24-year-old was quickly found at a local halfway house and arrested. He confessed, admitting all 3 murders. Lisk is transpired had shot his father 5 times, bludgeoned his other stepbrother Derek to death with a hammer. Oh wow! And then raped and shot his stepmother Susan.
geez
Let's
Louise.
see. Liskey Jr. was uh, took his own life in prison in 2015.
Yeah,
Now that's definitely a horror story.
that is intense, man. That's just
That's
you know what?
wild,
That kind of goes. That kind of reminds me of Halloween, the movie.
right?
Oh, I mean, not verbatim, but I mean that's just
No,
crazy.
that's wild. Like I get it. Like I understand. Well, I say this. I don't understand people who kill people, but I I guess I understand somewhat why people kill people and do dumb shit. I mean, if you have a mental disability, if you're schizophrenic or
That's
you're critical or you're medically insane, I understand like hey, not everything's up there. You go through serial killers from Bundy to Dahmer to Aline to
oh yeah.
Geen, all these murder serial killers and famous, infamous killers all had somewhat of a past. They were beaten and raped as children. Mom and daddy didn't hug them enough. But my thing is this kid Derek
Uh-huh.
um, killed his whole family, but he had to add into raping his own stepmother. Like,
Exactly.
where does that come from? You know
That's
what I mean?
that's a
You
personal. I was thinking
yeah,
that same
like
thing. I'm like, okay, schizophrenia. I don't know how much you've been around it. I've been around some people in my past locked up and this and that. And literally, I've got to have some real conversations with schizophrenics. And
mhm,
I've actually got to talk to them because they do have plenty of moments of clarity. But they literally do. I mean, it's not just like, the media saying they hear voices. They see things that aren't there.
yeah,
And when you would think of bludgeoning somebody with a hammer, you might be seeing the devil. But when you throw the rape in, that makes me feel like that dude might have been playing it off a little. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
I've
we
never really heard of a schizophrenic just. I've heard of them snapping and murdering people, but I don't know. He raped his stepmother. That seems like
that's
I don't know.
wild.
Yeah, that's just
Um, I,
terrible.
there was a case, law enforcement that I was a part of. You talking about blacking out? These three soldiers went out to a bar, and during a certain period of my time in the army, but it was like 2008 to like 2013, 14. Bath salt was really rampant in the army.
Oh,
Soldiers was they were ingesting it and just doing all kinds of crazy shit. But
right.
these three soldiers went out to a bar. Um, One fell asleep on the couch. The homeowner was upstairs, and the other one was on the floor. The one on the floor ingested bath salts, and the other two wasn't aware of it. But the one taking the bath salts ended up uh, killing the guy on the couch with a hammer,
Oh my.
and the own homeowner heard it and came down with a shotgun. And the dude with the bath salts was so like blitz out of his mind, he ended up taking the shotgun from the guy and shooting
Oh
him.
my. That's a feat.
Yeah.
Take a shotgun from a soldier that's aware.
Well,
Wow.
all three of them were soldiers, and um, he went outside after it was said and done, sat down on the lawn. Everybody showed up and uh, asked him what the deal was, and he legit said that he doesn't remember anything that he had done. He remembers falling asleep on the floor, and then he's waking up with MPs with guns in his face.
Oh wow.
I know
That
that's not really related to Halloween. It didn't happen on Halloween,
but it relates to the story we were just
but it
talking.
relates to, like it's wild on how,
When people
where the
don't have
mind,
control of themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
where the mind takes you, as far as killing people and then raping someone is just that's crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I've never murdered anybody. I've never killed anybody, so I can't say like I know you know, uh where it came from.
Where the drive comes from.
I don't know.
Well, since the legalities are passed in these situations, I've witnessed two murders firsthand. I told you about one of them already. There
Yeah.
was another one that was self defense, and the person that committed the murder was my best friend. He's dead now. So the legal parts are already resolved. Like they took care of that. So I didn't talk about it for years. And I will tell you that I don't care how tough I think I am, that stuff, like I told you about the guy getting shot, and that
Yeah.
sick, like instantly sick. I still can smell that, man. And like it's rough. I don't know how people I mean, I just don't get it. How you could walk up to somebody.
Yeah, it's
The other situation, somebody ran somebody over, but the guy was coming back to kill us, both of us. He said, "I'm going to my car, grabbing a gun. I'm going to execute." So my friend ran him over, ran his head over, hit him, backed up, ran him over, and it was. And I usually don't talk about that, but I guess since I'm doing podcasting, it might as well be on.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's
Where
nuts.
where the human mind goes, and that's like this one here. This one is excuse me. This next story is called Smiley Face Murder.
Oh, this
Uh,
one's interesting. I wanted to look more into that.
let's see. It says like all the other poor murder victims here, Chris Jenkins died at Halloween. At Halloween, okay. Unlike all the other poor murder victims here, Chris Jenkins could very well be tied into a widespread crime phenomenon, one known as the smiley face murder theory. University of Minnesota students Jenkins disappeared on Halloween 20, 2002,
Mhm.
turning up in the Mississippi River still wearing his Halloween costume some 4 months later. Jeez. It says that his death is believed by local police to have been the result of an accident or suicide, but the similarities between Jenkins' death and those of many other young men found in water across North America have led many to wonder if there's not.
We need to look more into this one because that doesn't tell us anything about the theory, and I was really interested
No.
in it, and I wanna look into that. A smiley face murder theory? I
Yeah, I gotta here's another part of it. In the decade or so between 97 to 2008, authorities in the Midwestern and Northwestern states of America pulled the corpses of nearly 50 young men from bodies of water. Various similarities surrounding the mysterious deaths led a pair of retired former New York Police Department detectives, Kevin Gannon and Anthony Durant, to investigate in some detail. It was their eventually conclusion that the deaths were linked. Not only that, but foul play was involved, as many as the original as many at many of the original body recovery sites. Unusual graffiti was discovered. That of, you've guessed it, a smiley face. It was Gannon and Durant's theory that these stylish dabbling of grinning humanoids were the calling card of a killer or killers, effectively serving as signatures, but also arrogant taunts to police.
Wow.
Yeah, we definitely need to look more into that.
That sounds interesting. I'm into true crime, and I have never heard that story or theory.
Yeah. You know, there's some things,
It
it seems like some things the media doesn't want you to know about until you dig, you know, think of all the other things that we don't know about that's probably happened on Halloween just over the many years, but you never hear about,
Right. Well,
you
I
know?
noticed that, just reading these articles, I was like I said, I'm into true crime. I know about some of the most terrible crimes ever committed, and literally, I had never heard of the toolbox killers. And then when I read that, that just, man, that's just,
Yeah, that's I don't
yeah,
know.
I just can't.
Maybe I'm just waiting for this one of these stories to say this dude literally waited for Halloween to kill somebody.
Right. Well, hey, going back to our last episode, you do remember Gigi. Gigi was said for 3 years straight that he was going to kill himself on Halloween.
Yeah.
88, 89, 90, and 91. I think it was 4 years. His
Well,
dumbass.
in '93, if you wasn't there for his last tour, you fucked up in '93.
Oh man,
Oh man, I wish he was still alive.
I do too, man. I listened to him this morning actually.
Let's
Driving back.
see. Halloween murders predicted by Son of Sam. David Berkowitz, responsible of New York City's 1977 Summer of Sam's reign of terror, is a man who knows murder. He certainly knew about the murders of Ronald Sisman and Elizabeth Platzman, and in advanced. Where's the next page?
Oh, that's the one that cuts off, isn't it?
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I didn't find any. That's the one that I had problems with because I know about Sam Berkowitz and stuff, or
yeah,
David Berkowitz, I should say. I'm sorry,
yeah.
son of Sam. And I knew about him, but I didn't really know what he was talking about here. I didn't see that.
What kind of fucking article is that shit?
Oh
I don't
wow,
know.
what the heck? Did
That's
you
like,
did you see this one where the 12-year-old oh my gosh. This 12-year-old trick-or-treater TJ Darasaw knocked on Quentin Patrick's door in the city of Sumter, South Carolina on Halloween night in 2008. He expected candy. What he got was 29 bullets through his front door from a fully automatic AK-47,
jeez.
11 of which hit him, killing him instantly. Oh my God. The poor kid's dad and younger brother were also hit, but pulled through and survived. It turns out that Quentin Patrick was a convicted drug dealer that had upset a rival gang of dealers and was fully expecting retribution. What he got was blood on his hands and 30 years inside. I'm sorry, 30 years ain't enough. You kill my kid, I'm getting your ass.
Oh yeah.
I just,
I just hope they don't put you in prison. That way I can get a hold of you.
yeah, right, right.
you know.
I've already said that. I mean, like, I don't like hurting people. I believe in helping people, but if my kid means so much to me, and if somebody hurt that or one of my best friends, even you guys, man,
Yeah.
I think that people get off too easy.
Oh, absolutely. I
As
don't.
much as I've been locked up and I've been through it, but I take my weight. I was in there for petty shoplifting, And it just because of multiple times I went to prison. I'm going to be honest, even on my political show, that I'm going to be honest with my past. There's no point in lying. I don't want anyone to come out and be like, "Oh, this guy's making a good point, politically," but hey, he's been to prison. Hey, I've been to prison. Fuck you. I've been there. Okay,
Yeah.
I stole some gas. I stole some fucking plates from Walmart. Whatever. That's literally two of the things I went to prison for. And like I just like still when you think of that, like they were a little harsh on me for something that petty, but people that are murdering people, I mean, I've seen child rapists get less time than me for stealing
Yeah.
gas. It's like
It's
probation on
it's
their third charge.
yeah, it's mind-blowing, like, especially, like, I like, people who have to register, like, sex offenders,
Yeah,
I don't think they should have that opportunity to register. They should be registering their asses in the prison.
yeah, I think
That's what
that's
I think.
terrible. Hurting a child. There's like
Yeah.
the crimes I hate the most are hurting a child in any way. Stuff I went through makes me very passionate about that, and I'm
Yeah.
also really against drug dealers like that prey on the weak. I just really hate it. I think it's a really cowardly thing to do. But we'll get back to the subject. But
So this one, I got one of these another article here. It says
okay.
a couple were stabbed in bed after a night spent giving sweets to trick-or-treaters. In 2004, Leslie Mazzara and Adrien Zaguana, who lived together in California, were stabbed to death in the middle of the night by someone they thought was their friend. Their housemate, Lauren Menza, woke to the sound of screaming and immediately fled the house. Eric Matthew Couple turned himself into the police but never explained his motives for killing Mazzara and Isogana. I always pick the articles with the fucked up names. The Napa Valley Register reports, let's see, he is currently serving life in prison with no possible parole. That happened on Halloween. Now that is a wild story. Like, how you just go up and kill somebody like that and then not have a motive?
Right. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see that article. Yeah, I don't know, man. People do that, like the thrill kills or just whatever. I don't know. People are just
I think I think Google and some of these statistics are holding out on some of these stories because it says manslaughters and DUIs, but I just think they don't want to paint the picture and make Halloween as bad as what we're reading, you
right.
know?
They don't want to cause like any well, you got the whole copycat thing that happens,
Yeah.
and people I mean, I've literally met people that swear to God Michael Myers is based on a true story. I'm sure some kid probably did kill his sister on Halloween, but I'm just saying they swear to it. And I even dated a girl that said she was related to Michael
Oh
Myers. I was
God.
like, okay, and
Okay. Let's see here. This one here. Uh, a nun was strangled to death in
oh, that,
1981.
that one.
Eyewitnesses spotted a man running away from a uh, convent in Texas in the middle of the night. Nuns noticed a broken window in the community uh, room and found the body of Sister Tadia Benz. The nuns immediately called the police, who later found Ben's clothes under a bed along with a knife. The man's name was Johnny Frank Garrett, and an autopsy revealed that he had stabbed and sexually assaulted Benz before strangling her. Garrett Garrett was sentenced to life or sentenced to death. Reports say that his last words, "I'd like to thank my family for loving me and taking care of me. The rest of the world can kiss my ass."
Sounds familiar.
Sounds
That was Gacy's last word. Kiss my ass.
sounds like someone had it out for the church going folks. That's what I got out of the story.
That's just so, I think that's twisted too. I mean, I'm not, I was, my ancestors are Catholic. I'm not Catholic or anything, but the nuns take they take a vow of celibacy. They don't have sex, and that's almost like the worst person to rape, the person that their whole soul is based.
Right.
On,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's,
actually that's targeting. Maybe he knew something, you know?
I think it was targeted. There's no way he just did that.
Like I don't know. I'm not big into religion and nothing like that. But I know better not to go make fun of anybody that believes in a religion, to be honest with you, or hell, even trying to go kill a nun out of all things, a nun.
Right.
Like, damn. I
That's
mean,
just
you shouldn't
that's
kill nobody anyway, but fuck, man, you targeting a nun? Like,
right.
shit,
I think it's just terrible.
that's crazy. Let's see. See another one.
I've got the
Hmm.
toolbox killers.
Yeah, go ahead, read that one.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one, and I did some history on it.
Yeah, yeah,
These
share it,
guys
share it.
are so sick and twisted. They're in my top 5 of sickest killers ever.
Damn.
Anyway, the final vile murder of the toolbox killer. Shirley Lynette Ledford was the fifth and thankfully final victim of LA serial killers Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris. The two men are some of the cruelest serial killing duos, ever to disgrace the planet. Known as the Toolbox Killers because of their vile and perverted penchant for tool based torture, the sick pair would often tape record their crimes. In their final murder on Halloween night, 1979, Whitaker and Norris snatched 16-year-old Shirley from a gas station where she was hitchhiking home from a Halloween party. They beat her, raped her, tortured her externally and internally with pliers, and eventually strangled her with a wire coat hanger. Finally, as a final insult, they dumped her lifeless body on a random front lawn. Both men were caught a month after killing Shirley so viciously. They are still imprisoned to maximum security institutions to this day. Both remain unrepentant. And I do have an update. They both died in prison. So they didn't get executed. They just died naturally in prison. But these guys are twisted. I read their story earlier. These guys killed what was it? 3 single women, and then they had a double that they killed. And they were putting ice picks in their head. They put it in one ear, pulled it out, put it in the other ear, and then stomped on it until it came through their skull. They did that. They filmed them. They made the girl scream. They said scream. They had one of the girls they killed was being quiet, so they started taking sledgehammers to her elbow and shattered her like into dust and shattered her elbow. They took pliers up into their private parts, twisted it around. They anally raped them. They filmed this stuff. They were I don't know if they were. It says they were filming it. From what I read, they were taking photographs and audio recording it, like the screams. And
Damn.
these guys were so, like they said, unrepentant because they were. They literally said, "You watch a horror movie." This is his own words. You watch a horror movie, you hear these scream queens scream, and you think it sounds real. He goes, "You'll never know what it's like until you hear the real thing." That's how sick these guys were. They literally
Wow.
was making the one girl scream for like an hour, and she begged and begged to just say a prayer before they killed her, and they didn't. They choked her first and killed her so she couldn't say her prayers. These guys are sick, and that's something that should be maybe
So
on the.
so did it mention anything about their motive? They were just some sick fucks.
Oh, they just want they were raping them, so it was
It
definitely
was
a
just
criminal sexual crime, a sexual criminal crime. They but I mean they were it was crazy. I was reading them, and I'm just like they were like they would just like go up and say, "Hey, I got some weed and some beer. Do you want to get in?" And they wouldn't get in the van. They had like a bed made up in the back with tools under it and stuff. So they literally the first person they killed, they she wouldn't get in the van. So they pulled up like a half mile ahead of her so they didn't see her and they pulled into a driveway. And when she walked by, I guess he said something to her and then just grabbed her, yanked her, put her in the car. And they had some secret place out in the those hills out there in California, one of those little mountain hills, and they had put their own lock on it, and they were just going out there, and it was crazy. They would rape them time and time again. They would take pliers to them. They cut off
man.
their nipples. They hit their breasts with sledgehammers. I thought that those there's another California murder that I thought was bad, but this is just sick, man. And
It's
they
why is it always fucking California?
well,
You know?
the other one in California, those guys had a dungeon thing. They had it up there, and they got caught for shoplifting. That's how they caught them. But these
Wow.
guys were taking these girls and filming them and doing snuff films, just murdering them, cutting them up, and it's
That's
like
crazy.
California got some
It's
history,
always fucking California. Now Florida's
right?
got its weird shit too, but
What'd you say,
California
Florida?
takes, yeah.
Yeah,
But
you know what? That's why those states need to start loosening up their gun laws. Not
well,
trying to not trying to promote my show here, but you know what? If more people, good people, law-abiding people carried guns, I'm sure there'd be a lot less people getting tortured and raped.
well, well,
You know?
I could say that Florida don't fuck around. It's a very red state.
Right.
Uh, California is a very blue state, but neither here nor there.
I'm just
you
going
know,
by gun laws. They're to a like Illinois, my lovely state. I'm actually fighting for my gun rights right now, and
yeah,
I'm winning, so that's good.
that's
Even with my
good.
record, I'm winning. And
So
New York, Florida, California, terrible.
yeah, um, I think if majority of these state, I don't know. It's another. That's another.
A whole nother.
Maybe that's
That's
something
something
we
for
could
my
talk about
show.
on your. We'll save that for your podcast.
Yeah, yeah, that's
um,
something I'm
I
passionate
don't
about.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to take that from you. I
Yeah.
think you'll kill that one. I've got my 2 cents in it, but going back to some of these murders. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull up one more.
You got
Um,
that dad that killed his the man that killed Halloween is still on there. The guy that poisoned his kid. You know all the stories we grew up with. There's poison in your candy. His
yeah.
right there.
Let's see here. Let me pull. Let me get it back up here.
Why is so sick, man? Your own kid, man. I love my son so much. I couldn't imagine giving him
Right.
cyanide on Halloween.
Like I don't understand. Like again, that goes back to the mentality of Dark Sage said. I'll pull this up right here. Dark Dark Sage said going to give an interesting take on the 2022 midterms, if I may.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. Dark Sage, if you want to tune into a podcast that's gonna probably be more political and blow your mind, Patriot Zero is gonna be
You are
going
welcome.
live. I can't speak for you, but I'm sure you're probably gonna be going live pretty soon.
Yes, I
You
plan in the next 2 weeks or so.
yeah, you got all the kinks working out and everything, so
Yeah, it's looking
that's
good.
awesome.
And yeah, I'm gonna be asking you and Karen for help with the hosting and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll help you. Let's see. He says I
I
live in
know
New Hampshire, and this state's very strange when it comes to state politics. Democrats here basically cost themselves everything running candidates who are anti-education, anti-nature. State Republicans here are actually liberal on social issues, while Democrats are conservative on economic issues. Watch our governor race it. Yeah, you know what? That's weird.
That's
Um,
really weird and that's really interesting. And that's something because he's participating and telling us some stuff about it. With me kind of leaning conservative, I did decide to abandon, say, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I
yeah,
think I support the Constitution big time, and I am more conservative. But because he said that, and this will be for another episode, but I would like to talk to him more. So definitely get in touch with me, Dark Sage. Um,
yeah, yeah.
hit me up. I'll have my show up here in a couple weeks.
It's to sway away from the politics. You know, I lean I lean right on a lot of things,
Yeah.
but you know, it's I'm in the middle sometimes. Sometimes I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, I feel,
you
I'm the
know,
same way.
but
I die hard with the Constitution, but at the same time, I believe in a separation of church and state. I
yeah,
don't bring religion ever. I think that's just the worst idea ever. And so there's a lot of points that don't give me credit with the Republicans, but well, like I said, we'll leave that for another day.
yeah. So
But
the
we have a
last one here, we'll read this last one. We'll have our closing, and then
okay.
um, the man who killed Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Um, Heard the old wives tell of poisoned sweets at Halloween, supposedly given out by a crazy neighbor. The candy will kill any kid that eats it. Luckily, it's not a real thing, although it was once in Texas in 1974. Of course, Texas. That's another fucking hard ass state. Not as crazy as California, but there's some fucking weird shit that goes on in Texas.
You ain't
You
lying.
got the David Koresh and all that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That was Waco. Let's see. Ronald Clark O'Brien laced 5 pixie sticks with potassium cyanide and planned on killing 5 local kids, among them his son. Why? Well, the plan was to blame the poisonings on a neighbor, see him imprisoned, and O'Brien could collect the insurance policy he had taken out on his young son. 11-year-old Timmy ate his cyanide-filled sour candy on his dad's suggestion. It had enough poison in it to kill 2 people. Within an hour, he was hospitalized and declared dead. Luckily for the other 4 children, fast thinking and acting local detectives figured out that had happened due to the smell of young Timothy's breath and confiscated the other pixie sticks before they could be consumed. On the 31st of March, 1984, Ryan Clark O'Brien, dubbed the man who killed Halloween, was put to death by the state in Huntsville, Texas, as the liquid chemicals entered his veins. A baying mob of 300 locals shouted trick or treat and threw hard candy at a small group of anti death penalty protesters. That's fucking awesome.
I love it, man.
Oh my God. That's the fucking way to do it.
That guy is sick, man. He deserves. I mean, kill your own kid, man.
Yeah.
Like you're not a father yet, are you?
Dude, I got 2 kids, man.
Oh, you have 2 kids? I wasn't sure, man. I even got
Yeah.
to talk.
I
Man,
got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old.
How
I
old?
got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Oh man, you got the fun stuff going on. And I'm old. I'm gonna be 40 in a year or two. I don't even know how old I am right now. But and I just got blessed because I didn't think I could have kids. And my girl, she was told by a doctor without surgery she couldn't have
Yeah.
kids. So we had them, and I just couldn't imagine hurting my kid. Like I made Halloween so great for this little guy, and like I just couldn't imagine killing your kid for insurance money. There's no money. No money would ever
No.
equal that. Like even losing the friends I've lost, that's why I go by tragic. It's because it was a joke because so many people around me died. It's sad. That's like where I got the name. It wasn't like some cool thing. It was that when I got with Darren and I got on his record label and was doing music, it's because literally everyone was dying. And then while I got on his label, I met a girl that helped me get through my friend dying. She died 6 months later while I was at Darren's house. I was at Darren's house shooting a music video. She called me and said, "I'm going to work early because it's raining. I want to beat the rain. I love you." Hung up, died, got in a coma. She hit a car dead on in a hydroplane.
Damn,
5 days in a coma. On her 25th birthday, we buried her. Darren
that's
was right
crazy,
there.
man.
Darren was right there next to me with his arm around. At that
Fuck.
funeral, I just
Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely some sad shit, man. You know, I love my kids, and I even sometimes, when I scald them or get onto them when they've done something bad, I feel bad just doing that. So, let alone ever want me to murder my own kids. Has
right,
never. Like, I would murder anybody that hurt my kids before I would even hurt.
amen.
And that goes across the board. The Casey Anthony, the bitch that got away with killing her
Right,
daughter.
Casey Anthony. Yeah.
There was a woman, I think in the early 90s, that drowned her 2 kids in a car.
No, it
You
was 3 kids. She
Is it
drove
3?
late. Yeah, that bitch.
Yeah.
I forgot her name, but that's
Like, and there was several other ones. I mean, there's a fucking 1,000 cases, but
yeah,
there again, that goes back to, like murderers and psycho killers, they have to rape. Why would you have to just kill your own kid?
right,
Especially on fucking Halloween, man. Like you could have done it like in March.
right, right.
Like
You ain't lying. They I don't know, man. It's just it's a sick world, and I agree. I'm glad they executed that guy. That's
yeah.
one thing that probably liberals would get mad at me about because I don't even believe in the lack of cruel and unusual punishment. I've been punished, man. I've been to prison for longer time than I deserved, and I took it like a man. And I said I screwed up, and I should be a good man. I should be a taxpayer. I should raise my family, and I accepted that. But when people like the pliers into a woman's, stuff, and
Yeah.
like killing your kids and stuff, man, I think those. I guess
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone.
Well,
But
no, it's like where are you at in life? That's what it's come to.
you're
Like,
taking something away from people, man.
like
Like
yeah,
missing kids, you take someone's kid and then you hurt them like that, and like sometimes the family never finds out. I was reading reading another Halloween case about that earlier when I was doing research. I don't have it up right now. It's just like people going missing but yeah, like coming down to it, these were interesting stories. I don't think they were all motivated by it being Halloween.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy giving candy is Halloween.
Yeah, I would say that one I would definitely relate. That was that was definitely
That was based
planned.
around Halloween.
He planned that shit. Just like OJ did it. OJ did that shit too.
Oh, he totally
It wasn't on Halloween though, but he did do that shit.
he did it,
Um
and then
but
still got ass arrested. He beat murder and still got arrested years later.
yeah, fucker. He did that shit.
Murder
But yeah, I would say out of all the articles, I'm gonna say probably that one ties itself into Halloween. Like that dude
yeah,
planned that shit. The other articles, I think it was a fluke. I think they just it just happened on Halloween. But
right.
this
Like the toolbox killers, they were already killing people. They had already killed 4 people, and then the 5th just happened to be Halloween. And that's because they were targeting young girls, and young girls go to Halloween parties. So
right. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short. We're at 56 minutes.
wow.
Definitely a very interesting podcast. Um, Again, Darren couldn't make it. He still can't figure out his technical difficulties. I'll probably have to show him how to do it. Just like we spent like 40 minutes prior to coming on just to get your stuff
you
done.
helped me, but I think I got it now, man. I really appreciate the help.
Yeah. I'm all the time helping Darren on that stuff, and the internet I think across the board has been screwing up because I talked to my buddy the other day and he's like, man, my internet's screwing up
Oh,
too. And
somebody else said that too?
yeah, I got a couple of people was like, man, my internet's jacked up.
Because my phone internet's acting funny. My computer, I'm sitting here with a $2,500 computer and I pay for high speed internet and it's still doing weird stuff. I had to call my cable company to fix it and they were going to send a technician out, but they finally fixed it. It's weird, man. And then I pay $100 a month for my T-Mobile phone. I don't know why I went from a $40 plan to $100. But I have $100 plan on my phone and it's acting up. I'm like, if I'm paying $100 for that and I'm paying whatever for my internet, it should work. But all right, man. I had a great show.
This was fun. I definitely love having you on here, and I can't wait to be a guest on your Patriot Zero, which is coming out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be on the Don't Blame Us network. So, whoever tunes in to this, it will be on that network as well. So
awesome.
But yeah, but that's all I got, man. Thank you for coming on and
like always, I want to say thank you for your service, man, because if it wasn't for people like you, there wouldn't be people like me.
Well,
so thank you
for the I want to say definitely thank you for the support. It means a lot just for the simple fact my dad didn't get it when he came back from Vietnam, and this is what I feel like. I feel like when people thank me for my service,
they're thanking your dad.
I feel like they're thanking my dad. So,
right that'll be a whole episode we'll do too.
Yeah, I want to get him on. I think that would be awesome.
That's a really good topic.
His internet sucks though.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man.
Like it super sucks out there.
Response episode. Oh.
Yeah, he's got some stories, man.
But
all right, man.
Have a good night, brother.
Until next time, I'll see you on the flip side. I want to thank all our Patreon supporters, everybody that tunes in. I don't have the list in front of me. Darren usually reads that off. But if you're watching or if you're going to watch or listen, we appreciate it. Thanks for keeping it alive. And don't forget to share us on all the platforms. We're slowly growing. And it's definitely came a long way since we started. And now that we have Patriot Zero on the network, I think it's definitely going to explode because on
it's gonna blow up, man.
The Don't Blame Us network, we've got the horror side of things, and then we can play the political side too. So
hey, and you know what? Like Darren was saying, man, you guys do the horror and the awesome, like the pop culture stuff on that side, and I'm doing political. But honestly, we can do anything.
Well, yeah,
I'm totally cool with talking about anything because this is like the coolest thing ever, man. I'm glad people are listening. I like talking to you and Darren. It's like hanging out and man and getting good. And we do the research. We put the work in
Yeah.
to talk about what we're talking about, man. So like,
No, it's definitely fun.
all right, man. Have a
Keeps
great
us
night.
out of trouble.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll holler at you later.
Yeah. Later, brother.
See you, man.
Thank you for tuning in to our little Passion Project podcast. Remember, we go live every single Friday night, same damn time, same damn channel. So if you miss it, don't blame us.